And there it is. Is it happening again? Yes, I believe it is. Roll up, everybody gather, come and join. Yes, it is happening again, but are you happening with it? Is the question. So come now, gather, let's happen together as we often happen together round about this time. The session commences your company required. You know how we do it, and you know when we do it, and you know why we do it. So we're doing it now. Gather, let's do it together. That guy again, one man went to mow. He's in situation, so you situate with him. One man went to mow. The eagle has landed.
Only water, only water, where they see ma. Water, 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 water. Only water, where they see ma. Hapa o naido. Hapa o naido. Hapa you don't come o. Hapa o naido. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù yé o. Ilé sọ́díyà kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ̀ o. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ̀ o. Chief Wáìlà tí kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ̀ o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù dòde ojàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Odúyẹ̀lá ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosoname ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosodunke ẹ̀yẹ rẹ̀ ó dilé o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe o.
And there you heard it. Ugly, not an ugly rumor, I shouldn't say that. Powerful and potent prayers by the Kegites. Iku Koniriwagbeshe. And so say all of us, of course, especially in a new year that's just broken. Iku Koniriwagbeshe. So amen to that. As guys, I bring you this. No more singing of national anthem in schools, slaughtering of cows in Southeast. IPOB dares Nigerian government in New Year plans. So now the banning totally of the Nigerian anthem, Arise O Compatriot, Arise No More O Compatriot. So whatever the anthem is in the eastern quarters, maybe it's another savior or whatever, that will be the anthem for henceforth and for the future. No more singing of national anthem in schools, slaughtering of cows in the southeast. IPOB dares Nigerian government in New Year plan. So two strands there. One, the banning of the Nigerian anthem, and essentially the second, the banning of the aboki, because without slaughtering of cows, then there's no need to have any northerner in the southeast. So from the southeast, we go to the southwest. Nigeria does not need OSINBAJO. TINUBU FAYEMI OPC declares, reveals what the country needs. So a categorical rejection then of the foremost Yoruba names thrusting towards the presidency in 2023 by one of the leading Yoruba spaces. Nigeria does not need OSINBAJO. TINUBU FAYEMI OPC declares, reveals what the country needs. So if they don't need the three front runners quite who they need, we'll find out in due course. We'll find this out in due course as well. This is a story that we covered previously, but there's been new developments. EFCC operatives who exposed how Nigeria's Attorney General Malami ordered unfreezing of big cases bank accounts, detained after leaked audio. So we played that audio here and we went through that story in great length, and we were in anticipation then that the nemesis, the fallout of this thing will sweep up the guy that exposed Abubakar Malami's corruption, as though Abubakar Malami's corruption was anything new to the Nigerian space. But for that expose, we anticipated and speculated that he was going to bear the brunt of it. The brunt now, the detention now of this whistleblower operative, EFCC operative, who exposed how Nigeria's Attorney General Malami ordered unfreezing of big cases bank accounts, detained after leaked audio. So quite what is in play there, we find out in due course. This we find out in due course as well. A lot of you, almost certainly most of you, but now all of you should know that the Olubadan of Ibadan has died. And of course, the king is dead, long live the king. So the jostling now for who replaces him now is at it's fast thrusting towards its crescendo. It's at a fever pitch now. And the runners and riders now permutating for that position. Ibadan kingmakers react to controversies around Olubadan's throne, insist on ex-senator Lekan Balogun. So Lekan Balogun now, the name that seems to be in favor by the kingmakers. But why is this the case? And often we know how these things play out. Deals behind the corridors, behind dark, shadowy corridors. So here it is again. Ibadan kingmakers react to controversies around Olubadan's throne, insist on ex-senator Lekan Balogun. So quite what is in play there, we find out in due course too. So plenty to find out in I do beg your pardon. So plenty to find out in due course. So just kick back, lean back, relax. If you want to come participate, click on the hyperlink and I'll let you onto the screen just as soon as I've read out the talking points. So before I read out anything, we'll go to the Eastern quarters as we usually do. But rather than go to the Python dance, we find out who the savior is. So who is he?
Another savior, holy, 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 holy. Another savior, holy, 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 holy. Well, this is Mobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafraland War. In the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight. And they were singing out, holy, 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 is another savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 is another savior. Holy, 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 is another savior. Yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. Inyamadika yabika kwa namno. Hey, anamekele mazuche mefo. Manemo, it's an honor having you on board. When I'm singing along, holy, 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 holy. Get it right and get Another Savior. Holy, 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 holy.
Oh, okay, quite enough of that. Holy, holy Namudekano is their other savior. Holy, holy. So, holy, holy days. No more singing of national anthem in schools, slaughtering of cows in the southeast. IPOB dares Nigerian government in New Year plans. So, let's see how this unfolds. The indigenous people of Biafra IPOB has dared the Nigerian government, saying the national anthem shall no longer be sung in schools located in the southeast region. The group said this as part of its action plan for the year 2022. According to the group, slaughtering of cows raised by Fulani herders is also banned henceforth during festive seasons in the southeast region. All these were contained in a statement by the group signed by IPOB's head of Directorate of Oh God, why they quite love all these titles is what really tickles me. What is the meaning of head of director? Anyway, let me just leave all that because those are just my own personal. All these are contained in a statement by the group signed by IPOB's head of Directorate of State, Chika Odoziem, and spokesman Ima Powerful, which was obtained by correspondence on Monday. The DOS said IPOB would campaign for the unconditional release of its leader, Nnamdi Kanu. Odoziem said IPOB members should prepare for a worldwide protest with a focus on the British, Nigerian Embassy, Kenyan Embassy, and the United Nations, the statement reads. The following are some of the programs and actions which the leadership will vigorously pursue in 2022. These are the ones we can make public for now. Others will be made known at the appropriate time. Worldwide campaign for the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a prisoner of conscience. The campaign will be called the Prisoner of Conscience Campaign. In furtherance of this campaign, all IPOB family members, Biafrans, and friends of Biafra are hereby urged to change their profile picture on social media with our official campaign poster. Secondly, all IPOB families worldwide are hereby directed to activate the earlier instructed. Sorry, let's take it again. Secondly, all IPOB families worldwide are hereby directed to activate the earlier instruction passed down to them. We shall embark on a worldwide protest in cities and capitals around the world. The focus of our protest shall be British embassies, the British Parliament, 10 Downing Street, the Kenyan embassies, the zoo Nigerian embassies, and international organizations like the United Nations, the EU, Amnesty International, and media houses. The group said a new department known as the Education Department would be established. IPOB said the department will be saddled with the responsibility of teaching Igbo history in primary and secondary schools. The statement added, the DOC will be creating a new department in IPOB to add to those already existing under the Directorate of State. The department will be designated as IPOB Education Department. Primary responsibility is to teach our history, language, tradition, and culture to our children. We have about 3 textbooks. We have about 3 books that will be published this new year. In furtherance of this, after the head of this department is made public, Biafran writers will be called upon to bring forward books and educational materials to be published for our children in primary and secondary schools. Beginning from tonight, no more Nigerian anthem in all schools in Biafra land. Our children must no longer be reminded daily that they are under oppression by singing the national anthem of the oppressors. School authorities and proprietors have a responsibility to teach our children our national anthem, the Biafran national anthem. The ban placed on Fulani cows will take effect in April 2022. Effective this month, Fulani cows will not be used for any social or ceremonial events and festivals in Biafra land. Our native cows will be used instead for these events. Traditional custodians of our culture, the clergy and town unions, must ensure that this message gets to the grassroots. We cannot continue to eat and bring curse and damnation upon our land and upon ourselves by consuming cows that are used for bestiality. So there you have it, the now total banning of the Nigerian national anthem from the eastern quarters by the potency of IPOB. So is this quite as potent? 2023, Nigeria does not need OSINBAJO, TINUBU, FAYEMI. OPC declares, reveals what the country needs. So what exactly does the country need? The Odua People Congress OPC has debunked reports linking it with the presidential ambition of some Southeast politicians in 2023. The group, in a statement on Monday by its publicity secretary, Yinka Oguntimehin, so Yinka Oguntimehin submitted that Nigeria needs to be better. Let's take that entirely all over again. The Odua People Congress OPC has debunked reports linking it with presidential ambition of some Southwest politicians in 2023. The group, in a statement on Monday by its publicity secretary Yinka Oguntimehin, submitted that what Nigeria needs to be better is not for any of Vice President, former Lagos Governor Bola Tinubu and Ekiti Governor Kayode Fayemi to be the next president. According to the OPC, whoever succeeds President Mohamed Buhari in 2023 will not make much difference without the restructuring of the country. Hence, the group insisted that what Nigeria needs is restructuring. It wants the country to adopt the 1963 constitution, which allows each region to develop at its own pace. Oguntimehin made the submission whilst distancing the OPC from an alleged mega accord of 57 civil society groups rooting for a Southwest presidential candidate. The OPC said it is not a political group, nor is it mobilizing for any politician or party, and those dropping its name are only doing so are only out to defraud members of the public. We are aware that when elections are approaching, some politicians usually use the OPC name to curry favors. There are some groups that are affiliates of political parties that usually make themselves available for politicians as at when due, Oguntimehin said in the statement. He added that even with any angel in charge of Nigeria, without restructuring, Nigeria may not make any meaningful progress. When anything happens in Yoruba land, you don't hear their voices except during elections and when they are paid to issue statements against us. Even if an angel emerges the president of this nation today, without restructuring, nothing will change for the better. Our position on the future of Nigeria is clearly stated in our belief in restructuring. That is why we root for regionalism as the best option for peace and stability, the statement added. So there you have it, a plague on all the houses, and really a restructuring or nothing, essentially what they are saying. And you can't really be too far away from that because, as they say, even if the combination of everything becomes the president of Nigeria, if they don't restructure that country, it will never, ever, ever, ever work. How can it work? It cannot work now. Every single human being on the planet that knows about the Nigerian state knows that it can never work under its present formation. It just cannot work. With 70 years going, it has not worked. So what then suggests without change that another 70 or 700 years it will work? I mean, it cannot work. So OPC is right on that. So forget TINUBU or Shibanjo or whatever. Just whoever comes in that space, if that country is not restructured essentially, it will not work. And this another reason that adds to that. EFCC operative who exposed how Nigeria's Attorney General Malami ordered unfreezing of big cases bank accounts detained after leaked audio. So we covered this somewhat in the course over the last few days or so. An operative of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission who exposed how Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami used his position and influence to order the unfreezing of big cases bank accounts has been detained and kept at a facility of the anti-graft agency in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. According to findings by correspondence, the EFCC operative who is a lawyer and a policeman, Mohammed Idris, was arrested and locked up shortly after a leaked conversation he had with the younger brother of a crime suspect went viral. Confirming Idris's arrest and detention on Tuesday, a staff of the EFCC told correspondents that the lawyer had been held since December. Yes, he is detained. He was arrested when the audio leaked to the media and was published. He is being detained at the EFCC in Abuja, the source said. Recall that correspondents had on December the 21st, 2021, reported how in the leaked audio conversation with Abdul Bari Yusuf, a younger brother to retired Rear Admiral and former Director of Navy Accounts, Tahir Yusuf, who was facing charges of corruption, Idris accused Malami of compromising cases of corruption in Nigeria. The detained EFCC operative, whilst giving Yusuf's brother hints on how to defeat the Anti-Graft Commission at the Court of Appeal, as well as ways to evacuate money from a particular account, said if he has money in any account linked with his BVN, bank verification number, he should quickly evacuate them. And if he makes transfers, EFCC will still trace it. He should only withdraw and then deposit into another account. Malami now controls the EFCC. The commission is in his hands. Once Malami speaks, the account will be unfrozen. They are unfreezing suspects' accounts, including the big cases. The operative was speaking in reference to the frozen account of retired Naval Officers Company, Aston, by the EFCC with 114 million naira at the formative stage of the investigations. He also revealed how Malami introduced the suspect to a lawyer to handle the case. Yes, Malami introduced you to Ami. Yes, Malami introduced you to Ame. So it will not be possible to debrief him, the EFCC official said. In another audio, the operative was also heard castigating his colleagues for thoroughly investigating suspects, saying they are devilish and terrible sets of human beings. The ex-naval officer had made failed attempts to unfreeze the account when Ibrahim Magu was chairman of the commission. Also, his account was recently unfrozen to enable him to quickly move out the money as advised by the EFCC operative. It was further so listen to that. His account that was frozen for investigation was unfrozen for him to move the money out so that then they then refreeze it again. So then he empties the account. Oh God. It was further gathered that owing to the retired military officer's connection with top politicians, including Malami, his hotels in Kaduna and Zaria were recently unsealed by the EFCC. The ex-naval officer owns Grand Pinnacle luxury suites in Maiduguri, Borno State. It was gathered following the leaked audio and dust it generated. The EFCC on December the 23rd, 2021 announced that it was investigating the issue, adding that it frowned against acts of corruption. A statement by the spokesperson for the Anti-Graft Commission, Wilson Uwajere, had read, "The Commission wishes to state that it has commenced investigation into the content of the audio tape and will activate its internal mechanism to deal with the issues arising therefrom. For the avoidance of doubt, the EFCC does not condone acts of corruption. Abuse of privilege for financial gratification by the personnel of the Commission is a serious offense against discipline. Without prejudice to the outcome of the investigation, snippets of the audio recording clearly showed an abysmally compromised officer dropping names to ingratiate his benefactor, a relative of a crime suspect. By the alleged act, the said officer is no more than a corrupt fifth columnist with a scant regard for the values of the Commission. The action is contemptuous of the established standard operating procedure of the EFCC. Such professional indiscretion has no place in the new EFCC. The Commission encourages citizens who encounter any such unprofessional conduct by personnel of the EFCC to report to the Commission in support of our quest to build a better agency. Finally, the Commission wishes to assure the public that its operations are guided by established professional precepts which do not support the kind of discretion that could allow for manipulation by external actors. So they've thrown him in jail, essentially, just the upshot of that. So finally, we land on this space, which is localized to the Oyo space, but nevertheless a national story. Ibadan kingmakers react to controversies around Olubadan throne, insist on ex-senator Lekan Balogun. The kingmakers in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, known as the Olubadan in Council, have insisted that the next paramount ruler of the ancient city will be a former senator, Lekan Balogun. They faulted an attempt to cause controversy over the choice of new king for the sprawling city following the death of the 45th following the death of the 41st Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Saliu Adetunji, on Sunday. According to the kingmakers, the tradition would be followed in the selection of the 42nd Olubadan, who will be publicized at the end of the traditional mourning period for Oba Adetunji. The Ibadan High Chiefs made this known at the end of a 2-hour closed-door meeting held at the residence of Otumba Olubadan of Ibadan land, High Chief Lekan Balogun, who, according to tradition, should ascend the throne as the 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan land, as the head of the hierarchy of chiefs in the ancient city. So let's pause there for reflection for a moment. So the Olubadan has passed on, as a lot of you may know, but now all of you do now know because I've now just informed you. So the king is dead, long live the king, but does the king live long? But this is the thing. So they are saying that the tradition within the Ibadan space is to pick from within. But traditionally, you have ruling stools in most kingdoms, with the Ibadan not being an exception. But it looks as though in this instance, an exception. You have ruling families in most kingdoms and obaships, and within those ruling families is essentially where the next king is picked from. So there's usually traditionally 2 to 3 families that constantly and continuously rotate the the kingship amongst them. But what the Olubadan Council are telling us now is that the tradition is actually to pick the Olubadan from the hierarchy of chiefs. So you may say that is the tradition and then that is the tradition. But where it starts to get a bit iffy and somewhat a bit pungy is that they then convene at a meeting at this guy's house, the High Chief Lekan Balogun, to select the next Olubadan, and then they then selected the guy that convened the meeting to select the next Olubadan. So there's something quite not due process about that process. The Ibadan High Chiefs made this known at the end of a 2-hour closed-door meeting held at the residence of Otumba Olubadan of Ibadan land, High Chief Lekan Balogun, who, according to tradition, should ascend the throne as the 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan land, as the head of the hierarchy of chiefs in the ancient city. But Mr. Michael Lano, a former Attorney General of Oyo State, had in a letter on Monday appealed to Governor Seyi Makinde not to endorse the installation of Lekan Balogun or any of the current high chiefs and baales as the new Olubadan because there were unsettled legal matters relating to the stool. The lawyer had in his letter argued that the former Governor Abiola Ajimobi violated the chieftaincy law when he, without thinking the legal effects of his actions on the future of Ibadan Traditional Institution, conferred the title of Obaship on some high chiefs and baales and gave them the right to wear beaded crowns and coronets in 2017. Balogun was one of the chiefs conferred with beaded crowns then, and Lano, in his letter to Makinde, pointed out that the chieftaincy declaration of 1957, which has not been set aside, forbade the elevation of an Oba to the position of Olubadan. The lawyer therefore advised that the governor should withhold his approval of any of the high chiefs or baales as Olubadan to avoid involvement in the desecration of Ibadan customary chieftaincy law. He also said that the suit instituted by the coronet chiefs and Oba was still pending at the Court of Appeal, but members of Olubadan in council dismissed the claim of the lawyer whilst acknowledging that their elevation to the Royal Majesty status by the late governor became contentious and litigious. They, however, argued that the elevation granted the members who also serve as kingmakers, had not in any way altered the age-long and enviable traditional succession plan of the Olubadan throne in Ibadan land. They stated this in a statement released at the end of a 2-hour closed-door meeting held at the residence of Otun Olubadan of Ibadan land, High Chief Lekan Balogun, the statement reads. Following the demise of the 41st Olubadan of Ibadan land, His Imperial Majesty Oba Saliu Akanmu Adetunji Aje Ogun Gunnosi the first on Sunday. So essentially, if they are picking, from the hierarchy of chieftains to be the Oba, then you'll be having the first in most instances for the Olubadans too. So this guy now, the Oba that passed on, Saliu Adetunji Aje Ogungun Nosi, the first. So now you can't have the second because the Obaship does not retain in his household. So whoever comes in there within the first of a lineage, so it has to loop all the way around for it to then loop back before you then have a reincarnation of a family stew. On Sunday, members of the Olubadan in council on Monday condoled with the governor of Oyo State, Engineer Oluseyi Makinde, the people of Ibadan land, and family members of the late monarch, rising from a 2-hour closed-door meeting held at the Alarere residence of Otumba Olubadan and the would-be successor to the throne, Senator Dr. Lekan Balogun. The Olubadan Council described the deceased leader of the council as an indefatigable ruler who reigned over what would be difficult, whose reign rather would be difficult to forget. Whilst praying for the repose of the soul of the departed king, the council urges the bereaved family of the deceased to remain joyous and happy for the legacies of good reign left behind by their patriarch. The council reiterated that the historical and traditional succession plan to the throne of Olubadan remains sacrosanct. The elevation conferred on all members of the Olubadan in council as royal majesties, notwithstanding. Members of the council were elevated to the royal majesty status by the previous administration in the state, led by the late Governor Abiola Ajimobi, and it became contentious and litigious. Olubadan in council said the elevation granted the members who also serve as kingmakers had not in any way altered the age-long and enviable traditional succession plan to the Olubadan throne in Ibadan land. There should be no controversy as to who becomes the next Olubadan amongst us, as the previous elevation that made us royal majesties did not in any way affect our respective offices in the Olubadan in council and would not preclude any of us to mount the Olubadan throne whenever it is the person's turn. We are the kingmakers and we will do the needful at the appropriate time. For now, we are still all in mourning mode of our departed father and revered leader in the council, and we just want to assure the generality of our people, both home and in diaspora, that there is no cause for alarm. So there you have the little skirmish going on in the satellite city, but the ancient city of Ibadan. So there it is. But Baba Akure, what are you making of that? They don't have family stools in Ibadan. Ibadan. Apparently, they have democratic obas. Have you ever heard of such a thing, oba by democracy?
Yeah, I thank you very much. Good morning.
Good to see you.
Wherever you are.
Yeah.
Anyway, based on the issue of Ibadan kingship, what I know about it is that it is not like other kings, like Ooni of Ife or Alaafin of Oyo, where you have your son ascending the throne. So Ibadan is different. So the Otun to the king ascend the position of kingship when the king passed away. So now I don't see anything. I mean, I don't see any bone of contention in this issue of Ibadan because it has been there for a very long time. This is not the first time. But I'm afraid.
What the guy is arguing is that the tradition and the law from 1957 it forbids an already Oba to then become the Olubadan. But then Ajimobi, he then conferred Oba status on all the councils in chief for the kingmakers in Ibadan, the Olubadan council. He conferred them Oba status, which automatically then negates, it then precludes them by law to become the Olubadan because they've already been conferred Oba status, which runs contrary to law. So this is where they are.
Well, the issue is that we don't have two kings in Ibadan. It doesn't really matter whatever Ajimobi did. We only have one king, which is Olubadan. So any other kings, they are counterfeit. So I don't see any argument about this to me, because we there is no way we agree that all those that are made up by by Ajimobi, they are not legitimate king. The legitimate king is Olubadan, who just passed away. So the second in command should ascend the throne. So there should be no issue of going to court. This is what you get when you mix up the throne with politics. So when politicians are dictating who to become the king,
yes,
that is what you get. Look at we can reference to Queen of England. Do you see anybody come and I'm going to fight for it? No, it has been there. It is separate office from politics. So that is what you get when you mix up kingship with politics, and governor will come and give you certificate, and governor will dictate for you and all kind of thing. And this is what Yoruba nation, if I will say, this is one of the things that they don't really like about what is going on in Nigeria.
I'm not putting you on the spot, but whoever put the Obaship under government, whoever did that, whichever administration did that, they should be shot. It's a completely different thing now. The Obas and the government should not be mixing now. Tradition.
I think the military did that. The military did that.
Okay.
That's what I want to say. I think it was. I think it was during Babangida. I'm not really sure anyway, but it seems like that was the time they mix up everything. But what caused this thing is that because our king, they running after money. So that is why everything mess up. The little thing they are getting from their villages, they want to live flamboyant life also, and they are so corrupt. So that is what leads us to all this.
It's terrible. But let me move you quickly from the west to the east. And as ever, interesting developments always in the east. But they've now they are determined to secede from Nigeria, either in one move action or in bit by bit. So that bit by bit seems to be the strategy in play. No more singing of national anthem in schools. That's one. And then no more slaughtering of cows in the east. That's two. So the IPOB space fleshes out their agenda for the year, but what are you making of their opening for the year? No more Nigerian anthems in schools, and they are not Itemalu anymore.
Well, I'm going to stay in the middle. The reason why I say that is that when IPOB says something, they always carry it out, and at the same time, I don't see how that is going to really effective, because take for instance like Rivers State, Weke never really supported IPOB, and the activity of IPOB is not really strong in Port Harcourt, which we can say it is part of East. So I don't see how that is going to resonate. I don't see how that is going to really work out. But there is no doubt they will pose some threats. But because we can see when they say, you should not they should not go out during election, we see the effect on the election. We see when they say, we are going to close down everywhere, we see that effect. But it is little bit sketchy. But this one, it is not really. It's going to be very tough for them to really carry it out.
It is going to be very tough, Baba Akure, but there are two things that they're saying. They don't want the national anthems being sung in the school, one, and then they don't want their people eating cows too. So let's take them separately. The national anthem.
You see the issue of cow. Yeah. The issue of cow. I can totally agree with that. I can give them at least 80% to that. That it will they will do that, because these people, they are very serious. But that issue of national anthem, if we want to put that into contest, it's going to be very tough. But that issue of cow, I'm very, very sure. When IPOB said they are not going to eat cow, people should not eat cow, you will see their people support that move.
Yes, I agree totally with what you just said, Baba Akure. The cow one, they can easily enforce, and I think their people are in sympathy with that, so they'll just do that. But not singing the national anthem, a bit more difficult. You have to recall that a lot of the schools in the East, federal high school, federal girls' school, federal government school. Are you going to tell the federal government school that they shouldn't sing the national anthem? How will you go to enforce? You can't do it now. It's not possible.
You see the private school, the private schools may go along with them, but public school, it will be very, very difficult unless the governors say that, okay, well, like on those states, for instance, the other time when they say, oh well, we are not going to sing, we have to sing the Olubadan nation, they use that to carry us. Anyway, so if the state governor say, oh well, this is the national anthem we want, maybe what's the name of their Biafra national anthem? If that they say, okay, if the governor say, well, that's what they want, then I think that will work. But if governor is not in supporting of that, it will be very difficult. But that of cow meat, I am very sure that will go a very long way.
And I want us to repeat that in Yoruba land as well. I cannot understand for the life of me, with all of these things that these people do, as soon as the malus come, we all rush down to the markets to start buying it.
I'm very sorry. I'm a Yoruba man. Yoruba is not. We are not really serious. You know, it is not my first time of saying this. We are not really serious like Igbo people. That issue of cow, I am telling you, just wait and see. That issue of cow, you will see how they will boycott it. These people are very serious. But that issue of national anthem, that is what I'm a little bit concerned about. That I don't really think that is going to really work. The private school will likely support them, but public school, I don't really think they are going to going to go with that.
You know, it's not enforceable, and even that cow space will be a real struggle because everybody is in support until Papa, Mama, Grandma dies. You know how they like to go and tie about 10 malu in front of the house to show that
you are very right. You are very right, one man. But when it comes to issue of seriousness, when it comes to issue of seriousness, these people are very serious. You remember, they don't care about how much money they lose when they say they have to close down every Monday, and you know how many weeks or months they did that, and they consistently doing that. So issue of 10 malu or 10 something is not going to affect them. These people really mean business. If they say they don't want cow, they don't want it. They are not going to. You will see. Just wait. But that issue of national anthem, I am somehow skeptical about that.
All right. Let me take you then from the east to Yoruba land, and this now a real development. Because we gather here all the time to say, no, TINUBU is guaranteed, OSINBAJO is in play, FAYEMI this, that, and the other. But OPC is telling all of them to get lost that, look, we don't really care all this noise making. If the country is not restructured, irrespective, I won't say God himself, but even if an angel comes to sit in that space, it is just not tenable. So the APC and OPC now, they take a completely different tack and say that, look, forget Yoruba, whatever. If it's not restructured, then we are not participating. So what are you taking then of OPC's stance 14 months to the elections?
Well, to me, I don't really trust the OPC. They have two mouths. So one time they will support Yoruba Nation, so one time they will support restructuring, sometimes they will support TINUBU, so we don't know where they stand. But at the same time, we should not discard what they say. We all know that if Nigeria is restructured today, I think it will cushion down the issue of agitation from the southeast and southwest. Little bit, not that they will completely abandon it, but at least it will give little relief that, okay, well, we can decide what we want. However, this issue of restructuring, there's something I want to add to it. We can say that, okay, well, southwest will be one region, southeast will be one region, and north, whatever, they will be in one region. To me, I think we can have our own region, but at the same time, I still believe in each state develop themselves, not group them together like during Awolowo time. No, I will not. It is good because look, like in Canada, we have an Atlantic region, which comprises of New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, and Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. That is Atlantic region. We have a Prairie region, which is Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, and British Columbia. And we also have Central Canada, which is Ontario and Quebec. So, but yet, each province develop themselves. So the regional government may have their own thing in common, but yet each province develop themselves. I think that will be better in Nigeria. Let each state develop themselves.
I think that is still the structure. So when they break it into sub-regions, that's not to do away with the states. The states will still continue to exist, but the sub-regions, I'm assuming they will probably want to reform those states to capture ethnic sentimentality, but you still have Lagos, Ibadan, or your state, etc.
I know, I understand what you are saying, but I'm trying to add something to this issue of restructuring that we're talking about.
Yes, you want to restructure the restructure. Look at Baba Akure. You want to restructure the restructure.
No,
Baba, can I say something, Baba Akure? Baba Akure, can I say something?
Just like
let him
I'm coming, please.
Yeah.
Just like here, because during Awolowo, you will see that Awolowo, Western region is under Awolowo, right? But there's nothing wrong. We can still have somebody, but each state develop themselves. That is when we can get fast development. But if we still say, oh, well, we are going to go to regional government and where we have premier in Southwest and then East, what are we going to have in each state, Commissioner? So I know what I'm talking about. So go ahead.
Oh yeah,
in Canada, you people don't practice federal system. I think you practice.
That is right.
Parliamentary, right?
Prime Minister. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, which means if we have to go by that, we might have to practice parliamentary. It's going to be unicameral, not bicameral like we have now. You get it?
Yes.
So, if we have to do that kind of province, regional kind of system, then it's going to be not federal. So we have to scrap that federal state system that we're practicing currently, which is not even really practicing the real sense of it. But I'm saying if we have to go through that restructuring. So, but then what I just see there is that the only issue I'm seeing with that is the Northerners will not allow it. They will not allow it because their leaders are very, very, their elites are very, very lazy, mentally lazy. They don't even know that they have potentials that they can tap into to help their region progress, but they just believe that oil from the south, I don't know if really they've discovered the oil they said they discovered in that part of the north. So what I'm just trying to say is just the federal system has to be scrapped, and practicing that parliamentary, that regional system will be based on parliamentary system, not federal. It would never work with federal.
You are very right, and with that, we'll be able to save a lot of money because this is just a caricature system of government. We are just wasting money. So that is my take for that.
Baba Akure, still in that space, do you concede that Nigeria, as it is now, it can never ever work, and for the country to ever work, it has to be restructured? Is that what you think?
That is what I think. Nigeria is going to go to work unless we restructure. Because as I said to you, one man, I've been saying this for a very long time. A lot of things already decayed. For us to get all this thing back, we have to go to this regional government that most people have been talking about. That is when we can have, at least we can decide, okay, well, we are going to dig hole for pipe-borne water from one local government to another local government, from one town to another town. If we wait for federal government, me and you will continue digging borehole into our own house and we will be supplying our own community. So it is not going to work unless we go back to that regional government, as everybody has been saying.
Okay. Do you also concede then, or are you of the thought that the people in charge of Nigeria, and you know what I mean by that, do you think they also know that Nigeria, as it is now, cannot work?
One I laughed at that. Do you think they are not stupid? They are not stupid. They know what they're supposed to do. They know what is right. It's just that the greed. Because nobody, they know, when these people sit down, they're so comfortable. They don't care about anybody who on the street. It's not that they want to see that poor people are perish. That is my own take. When I was in Nigeria, I said it everywhere I go. When we discuss about politics, I said it over and over and over and over. These people don't like poor people, so they don't care. It's not that they don't know what they're supposed to do. You see these people, they just wide up. They know that this is a dusty area. They wide up their glass. They just swim off, just to make you get some dust into your head. It's not that they don't know what they're supposed to do. Because of their selfish interest and the gain and what they are getting, because they don't like you. If they really have your love in their heart, don't you think they will do it? They will do it, but they don't love you.
The reason why I'm asking is that I want to be sure that everybody is on the same understanding that Nigeria is unworkable. Both us that are feeling the weight of it and the people that are putting the weight of it on us. So if everybody knows that Nigeria is unworkable,
if you go to Abuja today,
then change is inevitable.
If you go to Abuja today, go to National Assembly, Senate, House of Senate or House of Representative. Just call them. Do not do it as open ballot. Call them as secret in secret and ask them if Nigeria will work the way we are going. 90% of them will tell you that it's not going to work. But due to the fact that what they are getting every single month, that is why these people don't want to do anything about it, because this is their business. They want their family to continue ruling Nigeria. They don't want you guys. The way poor people will perish, and they have the whole country. We have everything for themselves. That's what they are after.
All right.
If not, why do they have to? Why do they have to? Go ahead.
No, carry on. Land your point.
Okay.
Land your point.
If they really love people, if they have love for people at heart, why do they have to hoard food, ordinary food? Because I will still mentioning this over and over and over. 2020 March, when everybody cannot even afford to buy. There was never a time that they can afford food anyway. But at that very time, when the whole world is supporting their own citizens, why our own politicians kept food away from masses? If they really love us, why do they have to? Ordinary food that you eat and you shit seconds in 30 minutes after, and they keep it away from masses. Do they really love you, or they want you to perish? Even that one, if Nigeria cannot think twice and remember what happened in 2020, was it 2020 October, right?
Yeah,
2020 October. If they cannot remember that very day, that just timed when that NSAS time, if they cannot remember that, and they still getting, because I'm hearing that some people are getting recharge card 500 naira now from TINUBU, 200 naira, 1,000. So if they cannot remember that very time, and they are still follow the same suit, then they doom forever.
All right. Finally, Baba Akure, let me take you to, I'm not sure if you are following the story or not. There was he didn't actually set out to expose Abubakar Malami, but nevertheless, he ended up doing that, an operative of the EFCC, telling us essentially that Abubakar Malami controls that organization, and he decides who the organization goes after, and he exposes then how this guy is just corruptly enriching himself. It was a leaked audio by this guy. But for that leaked audio, this guy now, rather than investigate what he has highlighted to the space, he himself rather has been arrested and detained and now being held in custody. So what are you then making of this unfortunate, inadvertent whistleblower now held in custody, the Malami narrative, Baba Akure?
Well, there's nothing new about the issue of Malami and EFCC. And even the APC as a whole, not even Malami alone. APC as well, because they decide whoever they want to arrest, and when they arrest you and you join the party, they free you. So issue of Malami is not something that we should be exchanging words or just talking about every single time. That is how it goes. So even he himself, even powerful more than most of the politicians, even almost powerful more than that. That is Abba Kyari the second. So if he can do anything he wants and nothing is going to happen. And remember, look at how many what he has already got since he became Attorney General of the Federation. Look at the houses that he has. Look at his the one that he bought for his son and his family. Anybody is going to do anything about it? Nothing is going to happen. Even look at the money. So a lot of scandal already attached to the man. Has anything changed? Absolutely not. Look at the multi-million dollars that they're supposed to take from US, and he said no, they cannot take that. Anything happen about it? Nothing. So they feel big and they are above the law. So it is we that we have to just put our strength together and see how we can take ourselves away from these people.
So we are surrendered to our faith. Essentially, that's just how it is. All right. Thank you, Baba Akure. How are you settling back in now? You settling back in?
Well, I'm still sleeping like a little baby because Nigerian time and
from the hot weather, sweating every day in Nigeria, to the cold weather, from wearing singlet, you are now wearing coats.
Sometimes I sleep like 7 p.m. and I woke up like 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So I mean 3 a.m. Sorry, 3 a.m. Sorry. So it is time different. So I'm still in that thing anyway.
Yeah, adjusted. You know, they say you need a holiday from taking a holiday. So if you book leave, don't book to come back the day after you get back into the country. Allow yourself 3-4 days, because you have to readjust. So you have to take a holiday from taking a holiday. So
that is true.
That is Baba Akure living
large.
That
is true. That is why you are seeing me now. Otherwise, I would have gone to work.
Yeah, no, it's always a delight in your company. So from Baba Akure living large to Ajale Koko living even larger. So from the mansion of Houston, we go on to Ajale Koko, the might that is. So Ajale Koko, good to have you. But to this space, then the OPC saying they plague on all their houses and just casting aside OSINBAJO, FAYEMI, TINUBU, and saying, look, the totality of it, a total nonsense. If the country is not restructured, then it's just forget it. So what are you making of now this stance taken by Gani Adam and his team?
Hey, good morning, one man. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.
Okay. Gani Adam's position is that has been his position for a long time. OPC and Afenifere position is very clear. They are for restructuring. It was when the Yoruba Nation self-determination came that Gani Adam kind of, due to pressure, kind of swings to the Yoruba Nation. But he has always maintained his position that because of the structure of Nigeria, because of how we are interwoven with each other, the ethnic group are interwoven with each other. We have a lot of Yoruba in the north, a lot of Northerner in the south, a lot of Igbo in the south, in the west, that if you can do the true restructuring, genuine restructuring, that would be better for us. That has been his position and his organization position. But like I said, when self-determination in Yoruba came due to pressure, then he said, well, if that is what they want, he doesn't mind it too. So, but for them to now issue that a statement today, is just to confirm again that they still stand on restructuring. So, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, no, I wanted to put you a question, but I think Rational Mind wants to too. So
Yeah.
you go first, Rational Mind.
Yeah. Do we understand how come this all press statement by OPC? Because if we've been following the events for the past few days, you understand what happened. There were about 54
57
groups or 57 groups that came together. One of those groups is the OPC. So are we saying the OPC now is factionalized like it was back then during Fashions time, when we had Fashions faction and we had the Gadi faction?
No, Rational Man, repeat it again. You said 57. What happened? I didn't get that.
Yeah, there were these 57 groups from the Southwest that came together to endorse the coming election. That's okay. We might have to decide between TINUBU, OSINBAJO, and the rest of them who are from Southwest. They have to support one of them if they do clinch the tickets. And so one of those people that came together, Agbekoya, different kinds of groups from the Southwest, Yoruba, social-cultural groups, they all came together. One of them is the OPC. OPC is one of them. So now, what faction of the OPC is that joined that 57 groups that came together saying they will endorse any Yoruba man that clinch any ticket for any party for the election? So that's to tell you that there's something going on. There is something going on. So I just want you to have that in mind.
Yeah, the OPC has been factionalized. There's another faction that they call themselves OPC something. I cannot really understand the they call themselves OPC, maybe OPC reformer or something like that. So, and I believe there's another one again. So it might be those one or one of those one that are supporting that if either OSINBAJO or TINUBU, they will go for them. But for Gani Adams, no, that is not Gani Adams OPC. And Gani Adams OPC is stronger than every other OPC. Yes, there are three. The one for Baba Fashehun, those one are with Yoruba Nation. So it could be the OPC reformer that joined others 59 group that we are talking about that are saying they will support Yoruba man if either TINUBU or anyone. So, but for Gani Adams, his position is clear, and him and TINUBU, they never see eye to eye, because he has said it several times that TINUBU has planned evil against him several times. He has, tried to kill him or try to use some people, political talks and something like that. So, but OPC, Gani Adams, their position is clear. They are not for politicians this time around, but for true restructuring, the same position that Afenifere stand for. So,
all right, thank you. We have the mighty Alexander joining us. Alexander, yes, I think that picture behind you, you told us that was mommy some time ago, isn't it? Is that your mom?
Yeah, that's my darling mother. Yeah,
that's mommy. You see, Alexander still a normal mommy. So good to have you, Alexander. You join us. Did you have a question for Ajanle Koko, or did you want to comment on the talking points?
No, you can let him speak. You know, he doesn't stay long. You can let him speak. Then I take up after him. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I totally and absolutely support Baba Kure's position on this. Nigeria as a country, I think every state needs to manage its own natural resources and pay to the central government in one form or the other. That's what I think, like we do in the United States. Every state has to be autonomous to a large degree of the federal government. That's the only way that country is going to work. This country's breaking out of Nigeria, like I said yesterday. That's going to work eventually because it's going to work eventually. I was thinking about it overnight.
When does Commonwealth for the greater good come in, Alexander? When does Commonwealth because now we're getting to a funny territory in this conversation. Not this conversation, but the broader conversation. So we're talking about regionalism, which is then some form of premiership that we had previously. And within that premiership, then you have either provinces or states, however you choose to structure it. But what Baba Akure is now saying, and you seem to concur, is that even those provinces and states, they get to manage their resources. So if they get to manage their resources, then why should the local governments within those states not get to manage their resources? So what then the concept of Commonwealth? When is your resources then ceded to a larger space for the greater good? So let's say, for instance, they had oil in Lagos. When is that oil in Lagos then ceded to Western region for the greater good of Western region and not held as the preserve of Lagos? Because we seem to be cutting it down and cutting it down. Very soon, everybody gets to own everything, and nobody owns it. So what about Commonwealth?
Let me use I believe Russian Jelokoko are residents of the United States. If you commit a crime in New York and you take off to Texas, do you know you're repatriated from Texas to New York to stand the trial? Every state should be like the United States. Every state should support. In my opinion, I don't think any state needs to secede a part of its natural resources to another state, whether you're in the west or east or south or north. It doesn't really matter. That's the way I see it. That's the way it's going to work. I don't know whether it's going to be anytime soon, but that's the only way that I think we can move forward. The idea of breaking up, having a Biafra nation, Nigerian nation, it sounds Yoruba nation. It sounds good on paper. In my opinion, I think it's a long-term project. But what I have to say for the Igbos, and I stand strongly in this because I have a lot of relatives who are Igbos, is that they about 20 years ahead of us in terms of breaking away from Nigeria. We do ourselves a disservice when we start saying that we want to break away from Nigeria, actually, because out of all the ethnic groups in Nigeria, we have gained the most as a people, Yoruba people. But then in saying that, we contribute, according to Ajele Koko, 48% of the GDP of Nigeria.
Yeah, but those are skewed figures. I think Ajele Koko and I, we've argued this point endlessly, that the wealth of Lagos essentially off the back of the Nigerian state, but he's insisting that the wealth of
Southwest
is Eastern.
I'm talking about the entire Southwest.
Yes,
he's talking Southwest.
No, Southwest, not Lagos. Yes, Southwest. But yes, I agree somewhat. But in terms of development and everything, we probably want to say that the Yorubas have gotten the most out of the Nigerian state, just in terms of in the infrastructures which are not really there, but really probably gotten the most in terms of people development, in terms of wealth and everything. We probably want to say as a collective that we've gotten the most out of the Nigerian experience. Yeah.
One man, do you know why that is the case?
Yeah.
Do you understand why?
Tell me.
Well, the simple reason is because the traffic is in the Southwest. Everybody wants to come down to the Southwest.
But why do they want to come down to the Southwest?
Well, some of us might understand why. Maybe because of
No,
Lagos, the
tell us.
port.
There's some people that don't know. Just tell us.
Hold on.
Okay,
Radio Biafra, we're having a
Rational man, I must tell you, your voice is seriously distorted.
Oh, is that the case? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. No, we can hear you, but it's just you sound like someone from Maiduguri.
Yeah, it's very early morning here, and I'm still
It's under the duvet. It's under the duvet.
Yeah.
That's why.
So is it better now? Better this way?
It's okay. We can hear you.
All right. So what I'm trying to say is the traffic in the southwest is why the infrastructural development is needed, because like we all know, the factories, the early factories that Nigeria had was concentrated in the southwest, and everybody flocking from all nooks and crannies of Nigeria, from north, south, east, they come towards southwest, which is Lagos area, Ibadan, Ogun State, towards your own those states. So
Lagos really was the beacon, because Lagos was for very much a long time, and probably still is, the wealth hub of the country. So everybody comes there, and that of course blossomed the.
It's also the friendliest city in the whole of Nigeria, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I wanted you to expand on that space, because Lagos, like you said, you being a Lagosian, Lagos is probably one of the unique spaces on this planet where people can congregate and have full ownership of space without feeling intimidated or anything. You go to Lagos, so long as you buy your land, you earn your income, then you are anything and everything. The only space yet that a foreign person has, we even say that a foreign person has not taken, even we've had a foreign person foreign to Lagos being the governor of the space.
Well, Ipob is very
friendly as well,
Well,
I don't know about that. I have investments in Igbo land, and when I go there, I still get treated as a foreigner, like a foreigner. So they see me and they know I'm not from there. I don't know how they know it, but they know I'm not from there, and the attitude is totally different. Let me come back to Lagos. Lagos is by its very nature, very, very friendly city. In actual fact, I was speaking to someone from the royal family, from the Lagos royal family, who was a classmate of mine in college, and he was telling me that there's a verse in Lagos Oriki that says that Lagos welcomes people who are foreign more than they accommodate their own people. So it tells you how open-minded the people are. They've always been, there will always will be. So that's just it at the end of the day. It's a very friendly city.
Can I just say something here? Please, let me interject something. In London, where I live, it's very cosmopolitan. New York City, I've never been there, but I can imagine from what I've seen on TV, it's very cosmopolitan, because they have all these people from different parts of the world congregate in that part, because that's where the jobs are. So Lagos claiming to be friendly and all this thing is no different from all these major cities. They have the same thing. They attract majority of the people living in London are foreigners.
But what's the criticism? What is the criticism?
No, I'm saying that Lagos. I'll keep hearing, Lagos, is always friendly, but I'm just saying that you have the same criteria as other big cities in these countries. So Lagos is not getting in. I just keep hearing, so I'm thinking, what's so special about Lagos?
But is that not what you've just described? I'm not sure, because you are saying what you are saying. It concurs, but the tone is almost like
Don't you? I know you're a London boy because you have a London accent.
No. The point I'm trying to make here is that.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Hold on,
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. I know you're a London boy because you have a very heavy London accent. So let me ask you a question.
Carry on.
Do you sometimes feel foreign in London?
No, I'm telling you the truth. No, I was asked the question. Yesterday by what's his name? Somebody asked me. Izon. He asked me, where would you show your loyalty? UK or the Nigerian state?
Yeah.
I said the UK. And the reason for that is, me as a foreigner, I have never, ever felt intimidated going anywhere, applying for a job. But in Nigeria, I will be intimidated. When I go to Lagos,
that just tells me your age category. Because back in the days when I was growing up in London, we felt like foreigners because we were treated like foreigners.
What period was that?
Early 70s.
Okay.
I mean, it was not unusual for you to come back to the United Kingdom with a British passport, and then a white immigration officer would ask you, "Where did you get this passport from?" I've been asked that question over and over again when I was young in London in the 70s. So things have changed, but it wasn't always like that, my friend. It wasn't always like that. So let me go back. Let me go back to Lagos. It's a very friendly city. That's why people come to Lagos and do whatever they want to do. And I want to touch a little bit because I have to go for a meeting. I want to touch a little bit on this Biafra Yoruba nation scenario.
Okay.
They Biafra with the South in the next 20 years, if they're allowed to go their separate ways together, would be one of the most successful countries in the world. If South and Biafra and Igbo land come together.
Because of the oil? Because of the oil?
Exactly. My only reservation is no one wants to be a minority where Igbo people are dominant. That's the problem.
Can I just
that's the problem.
Hold on.
That is the problem. Go and listen to when I was, and I think Angelica would know this because we're about the same in the same age category. I think J.P. Smith was governor of Rivers State just after the Biafra War, or no, before the Biafra War, something like that. And he said that people they grew up with in Port Harcourt in Rivers State during the Biafra War took over their properties during the Biafra War and treated them like second-class citizens and treated them like dirt. It's on YouTube. He's a king in Rivers State. And because of that, I mean, he said he was in tears. And that is the average mindset of someone from the South Nigeria.
Majority of the
They're not comfortable. Excuse me?
Majority of the people in this South you claim are Igbo, believe it or not.
Oh, now, come on. I don't ever want to go into that. I mean, I don't know if you say so. I wouldn't want to argue with you on that. But what I'm saying is that Biafra with Igbo and the South would be one of the most successful countries in the next 20 years if they go their way. But Igbo land cannot be successful with that South. And that's the bottom line. So that's what I have to say this morning. Please, Ajale Koko, thank you very much.
Before you leave, though, you open that space a little bit because that is where the nub of it is. The Yinga, that is the heart of it.
That's a bone of contention.
Because I agree that the success of the Biafra project is predicated on the South being part of it. The coastline and the wealth of the South would add on to the industriousness and the zeal
of the Igbos
to propel at least a decent country. So, but they need that coastline and resources to have anything. If they get just Igbo land, no matter how industrious they are, they'll just be a dead poor African nation. Another charity case, But with the South, they be a champion country. But the South, as you said, they have institutionalized distrust of the Igbos. They do.
Yes.
You cited an example
and rightly so. And rightly so.
So it's a mix that would never really mesh together because it's so ingrained. Hold on, it's so ingrained in the psyche of the South. Just this visceral distrust of
you don't wonder. I'm speaking from a position of authority. I control. My wife is the head of the organization, and I'm the financial controller. And I can tell you, my wife is a typical Igbo woman, and my wife is probably 1% of the richest people in the southeast of Nigeria, from a woman's perspective. The point I'm trying to make is, in this organization that I head, 95% of us are Igbos. Someone made that assertion on the last show, that Igbos just come together naturally without allowing other people to mix. That's their nature. So you can well imagine, if you have a country dominated by Igbo people, then you would feel like a second-class citizen.
Can I know what I mean? Can I, Alexander?
Very quickly, you'll start to get another agitation within that.
Yeah, go ahead, Rational Man.
Now, let's look at River State. You mentioned Spieth, former River State governor.
Yes.
Now, if you look at it, the way currently right now, River State as it's constituted, we've had 3 governors that ruled that state, and they were all from the Ikwere side. Ikweres, and Ikweres are the Igbos.
No, but no. If you speak to an average, Rational Man, let's be honest with ourselves. If you speak with the average Ikwere person, they'll tell you unequivocally, we're not Igbos.
Oh wow, let's not go into that.
How can they not be Igbos? They answer Igbo name. They are
Igbos. They are Igbos. In some ways, they are Igbos.
Man. Come on.
So what I'm trying to say is this. I'm just let's not go into those into the details as to who they are. But what I'm trying to say is,
go ahead.
I'm just trying to help that idea that the Igbos, they are very domineering wherever they find themselves. We know the story right from after the independence and with Azikiwe, even the war. During the war, I mean, lots of the people that were killed initially were not even the Igbos, were the people from the Ibibios side and some part of the Niger Delta, the Calabaris, were the people that were first sent out by the Igbos to go fight the war against the Nigerian army, and they got massacred because even when they're in training, they conduct the training in Igbo language, and they speak everything. All the generals, the commanders were all Igbos. And so actually this very day I know people who fought in the war, very old, elderly men. They tell you the horrors of that war, how the Igbos, they just pushed out other tribes to go
because by their very nature, and I don't have any problem with it per se, but by their very nature, they're extremely domineering people. So and nobody can deny that fact. That's a given.
You are being somewhat polite, Alexander. The right description, appellation, I would say, is tribal. They are tribal people.
Yeah, maybe that's the word. Yeah,
they look to tribe over and above anything else, and that is the thing. And if you're not in, you're not in. You know,
I have to choose my word carefully because I am.
I know, because you get Koboko from
I know. I won't get some sugar tonight. Let me let you guys go ahead and do your show. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Alexander. Always a delight. So you interject Radio Biafra because I know you are keen to have your say, and then we get back to Dande Koko.
I really don't know where to start now from what I've just heard from Mr. Alexander. This is just incredible. Igbos are not domineering, competitive. If you cannot compete, how is it that we're dominating you? Imagine the Kanu's.
No, you're not dominating us. You can't dominate us, but carry on.
Okay, fine. Imagine the Kanu's focus idea of Biafra. It will be a confederation of countries in Biafra having control of your economy, taxes. You know, to many levels of security. So
who would have the whip hand in Biafra? Who would have the whip hand?
When you say whip hand, what do you mean by whip hand?
Who will wield the cane? Who will wield the cane?
I don't understand. I just said to you that
do understand. Who would wield the cane?
I don't understand that whip hand.
One man, don't go too far.
No, he's trying to say confederation as
just look at the Ipob. Just look at how Ipob is constituted right now. Just hold on. Look at the constitution of Ipob right now. That tells you the kind of government they might have to run.
Okay, how are they constituted? Tell me.
I mean, your supreme leader. Listen. Your supreme leader is an Igbo guy.
the deputy and Igbo guy, the third guy, the fourth guy. How many people do you have from the Calabar?
Who is the coordinator of for Africa?
Look at that. The T-boy. We know the T-boy is from the South. The T-boy. Look at that. The T-boy.
We're talking about the kitchen cabinet. We're talking about the kitchen cabinet.
That is the whip hand that we're talking about. That's the whip hand.
The coordinator for Africa.
So you retain the whip hand and forget the coordinator for Africa.
Why?
Who holds the whip hand in the IPOB? Who holds the whip hand?
To me, that's irrelevant.
Is irrelevant. Not to the people being flogged. The people being flogged don't think it's irrelevant.
No, nobody's flogging anybody. Nobody's flogging anybody.
You hold the whip hand, don't you, in IPOB? You hold the whip hand.
I really don't understand what you mean by whip hand.
You do understand.
Igbos are the ones that are spearheading this movement. So Igbos are going to be in
the whip hand. You hold the whip hand.
I really don't understand what you mean by whip hands, but Igbos are not domineering as you guys like to paint.
They've decided you to exact. So how many more examples do you need? You hold the whip.
Against it.
Look at that.
I need to take my breath back to what you've just said. I'm really just confused. You just carry on. I'm carrying on listening. I'm just confused.
You are not confused. But back to Ajanle Koko. Ajanle Koko, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, all right. Thank you for ceding that space to Alexander. But then let's retain the space that we were with Radio Biafra just now. No more singing of national anthem in schools and slaughtering of cows in the southeast. So the IPOB organization, they are fleshing out their agenda for the new year. But what are you making then of the thrust of their campaign, this pivoting that they've done?
Before I go to that, let me say a little bit about that restructuring we were talking about.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
You see, even if Nigeria want to do restructuring now, let's say we agree on restructuring. Restructuring, particularly in Yoruba land and even some of the Igbo land, have to be redefined by the people themselves. Because you see all those states that are created all over Nigeria, many of them are not financially sustainable. They cannot financially sustain themselves. For example, in Yoruba land, we know of Ekiti State. Ekiti State is purely a civil servant state. Osun State. So, restructuring, to my own best idea, is, for we the people, each region, to sit down and restructure it the way that is good for themselves. You see, all those governors we see all over the place with civil servants, with thousands of advisors and all this, large government, we don't really need it. Just need to call it aside. Some of the state does not even deserve to be state. They just have to be. They just maybe like Osun or Ekiti State. It does not fit to be a state. It should just be a division or maybe a province where you will see somebody with a less power, less authority to just head it and carry out government function and carry it out and put in place a strong institution that can make things work. So states across Nigeria that are created by military are not created for the benefit of we the people, but to divide us against each other. And that was what they succeeded in doing. They divided people against each other. When Gowon created state, it broke East into three states in order to break them apart, to break the Calabars and the rivers and all those the South people, break them away so that he can use them against Ojukwu, and and he succeeded in doing that. The same thing they did in Yoruba, the same thing they did across Nigeria. So its restructuring should be based on the people in each region to define it and structure it the way they feel that will work for them. But the way we have it in the West now, I don't think we should continue on each state basis. On each state basis, those states cannot economically and financially sustain themselves. Only in the whole of Nigeria, with the recent report that came out from the Bureau of Statistics, only 3 states that can financially sustain themselves: Lagos, Rivers, and Anambra State. That's it in the whole of Federation. That's a big failure.
But that's nothing to do with state that's nothing to do with states though. That's more to do with income generation. So that means then
So if a state cannot generate their income to sustain, to finance their budget, what does that tell you?
So that tells you.
Yeah.
Well, we cannot say that it's due to lack of resources, because we know that there are resources enough in most states in Nigeria to self-sustain. So that tells you then is the caliber and of governance one, and a dependence on the Niger Delta oil too. So we cannot say that Nigeria can only have 3 states. So that's then to say that
no. I'm not saying we can only have 3 states. I'm just saying that most of the states we have cannot financially sustain themselves, except they get allocation from federal government. So if as of today, with the democracy we have had for 20 years, with our own people in charge of authority that should have, ensure that put into use the an effective revenue generation capability, to run their state. This is democracy, but still, a lot of them, because of their corrupt practices and all whatnot, couldn't still do it. So how do we do it better? Because when we are restructuring, we want to restructure to run an administrative and governance in such a way that we work well for the people. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So
can I say something?
Yeah.
You know that this restructuring means many things. It means different things to many people, different people. So because for the fact that we cannot agree on what we want to restructure, that's the reason why we've been having this problem. Because especially the Northerners, their own perception or their own idea of what I think I'm getting the feedback here. Okay, so their own idea of what restructure is different from what we Southerners, people from the South, even among people from the South, it's a different idea entirely. You ask some people, they'll tell you it's about fiscal restructuring, which you have to just everybody control their resources. Some people says no, state has to be redrawn, the state map has to be, all of this. So it's, and when you look at it, sometimes it seems overwhelming.
The OPC, they are asking for a reversion to the 1963 constitution, the composition.
That is the point. Yeah, if we can just make it as simple as that, go back to that, because see, the thing is this.
1963 is completely different time and space from 2020. Hold on now. From 2022. So what was, even the population size, the resources, everything. So you cannot have it as it was in 1963. But that can form a template for a new recalibration, because that was the last legal constitution that we had in Nigeria.
I agree with you. So you said template, that could form a template. So why don't we use that as a template then? It's just because, the problem with Nigerian lawmakers is that they feel overwhelmed that they have to revisit everything. And in the process, everybody has to bring different, they have to throw in different what they think is part of the restructuring. And so, but for us to just make it just so simple, why don't let's just reinstate that 1963 constitution that everybody agreed on back then, and let's use that as a template and start with that. And then from there, we can start making amendments from there. But like you said, I agree with you because of the way this back then, things were not like the way it used to be back then. We now have states, and the map has been redrawn.
And so the population is 3-4 times.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. So that's what I'm saying. The restructuring, it just means different thing to many people. So where do we start from? That's the question now.
Well, yeah, that
just like one man said, the 1963, we can put it to use as a template, and then we can look at the better way we can improve on that. Because this current structure, if we even have restructuring and want to continue with this current structure, we still got to run into big problem. Because now we in the Southwest contribute 49% to the GDP of Nigeria. What do we get back in return? 8%. 8%. That is what we got back in return. 8%. This is not sustainable. So if we want to use 63 constitution as structure as a template, yes, we can start from there and then use it, do whatever review or whatever we want to do to go in line with the current situation of things.
What we're saying essentially are sub-autonomous nations within a greater federation called Nigeria. So the Western region, the Eastern region, the Northern region, but then of course the country doesn't even split as it did in 1963. So you then have a lot of people then agitated for a region if we're going to go to sub-regions.
And the other thing again to consider is we have to consider the kind of the system of government we have to practice at that time if we do restructure. So we might have to scrap this federalism we're practicing right now. We'll be practicing the parliamentary system, which is the prime minister of the parliamentary system.
This presidential system is not good. It's a nonsense. It's expensive. It doesn't fit us at all. We have to scrap it.
All right. Hold on, Exero. But if we split into the sub-regions, then we have to go into those premiership sort of system.
Like in Canada, like the one they practice in Canada.
And we can have a rotational ceremonial president for the Nigerian state. So you have the Western region, Eastern region, however, whatever region, and then you have a ceremonial president that just rotates amongst those regional premiers. But then the autonomy cascades to the region. But Exero, good to have you.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Please, I just want to start by voicing my opinion towards the way and manner we discuss Igbo issues on this program. It is not fair that every time the Igbo issue comes up, there is a certain palpable Igbophobia in the house. Please, I would like us to be more objective when we discuss issues rather than sweep everybody under one carpet. It's not fair to say Igbos are this, Igbos are that. I wouldn't use my experience with one Yoruba or a few Yorubas to castigate a whole race. It is very, very unfair. If you go after this program, watch the program, you will see the narrative. It is really, really unfair. I would like us to see each other as humans first that have their own mistakes, but to generalize and say Igbos are this, they are that we are, what's that word they use? I see it as competitiveness, but if you see it as try to be dominant, it is a different perspective, but you don't just put it as the behavior of a whole race. It's not fair. That being said, I don't think any kind of rule or any kind of democracy is going to work in Nigeria.
Hold on, you dropped a bombshell. You also, Ajale Koko, you stand accused and rational mind for your Igbophobia. But cite an example of what
give
me a couple of examples of what jars you.
There was this guy that said he said he has an organization And then
Alexander,
yeah. I mean, that's I don't want to use harsh words, but you know, for a person that has an organization that claims his wife is one of the 1% richest women in the world, I think that guy is lying a lot.
No, he's not.
I don't think he deals with humans. Because if it does, he should know that the one thing that humans are not is that they're not all the same. He said he had 95% Igbos in his organization. Listen to me.
You know, you cannot say they are not the same though, because your culture forms you largely, and a lot of people come here and tell us that
Zero. Are you an Igbo? Are you an Igbo?
No, I don't want to go into that.
No. Just tell us, are you an Igbo?
You are not.
Are you an Igbo person?
He's not. You are not.
I'm not.
Are you an Igbo person?
I have dealings with Igbos, and I will tell you one thing for a fact: the Nigerian Biafra War, who started it was not an Igbo man. If you want to look at the division of Igbos, he's from a Delta state, but the Igbos took the brunt.
All right, let's not go there.
You don't want us to open Pandora box this morning. Don't let. If we want to go, if we want to speak to historical fact, we don't want to go there.
We shouldn't ever go there, because for one, the people who started that war, they are all military men. And what has military people got to do with it?
No. Let's not go to the Biafran war, because it's always a heavy weight whenever we go into it.
It is.
But you hold on, X0, because you've come in here now to stand us all accused. So now, in just clear terms, cite 2 or 3 examples of how we stand accused. So back it up.
When you, as an umpire, as the owner of this program, what I expect of you is to, at least when it comes to accusing a whole race, you should stand neutral, let people air their opinions and argue. But for you to say to somebody who's arguing for an opinion that, okay, you're trying to cut him short. I heard this Jake Biafra guy trying to speak, and you were trying to just wash him down like, oh, what he's saying doesn't really change anything. The Igbos are like this. No, I mean, you stand accused too.
I gave him the floor, and it was Radio Biafra, not Jake. Yeah.
I'm not completely condemning what you did, but I'll just say you should let it be open as people's opinions jam each other.
I gave him the floor now. He expressed himself. He gave up the space eventually and said, I don't have any more to say.
Yeah, because he got fed up, because he got tired. I mean, so many people saying the same thing, accuse him, in his direction. He's an Igbo guy. I know what it feels to want to defend what you don't know about. I don't know what happened during the Biafra war, but as a human, I know that people are not always the same. There is a new generation Igbo from Lagos who don't even know
they don't make sweeping statements in the East. They don't stand.
No, people. But this is your program. That's what I'm saying. Sweeping statements like that shouldn't be accepted by you.
No. You should try to stay. I'm asking you. Do they not make sweeping statements in the East?
Everybody makes sweeping statements in their bedrooms. But when you come to the public, you know what not to say.
No. Publicly in the East, do they not make sweeping statements about the Yorubas, about the Hausas, about the Fulanis, about the British, about everybody and anybody? Do they not do that in the East?
No, what I'm saying is you have advanced to a stage where you are cosmopolitan. If you allow sweeping statements around your space, then it no longer means you're a cosmopolitan. That means you're dumbing down.
No, it's free. No, it's free speech. You know, the greatest way to counter something.
One man, don't let us overflog this issue. Let us move on.
No, because what X0 is saying is a space that people have come here to speak to before. That there's a undertone of Igbophobia on the platform. So this is what X0 is saying, and it's not the first person to say that. So now let's now address that. Because the platform is critical of virtually everybody. You know,
exactly.
You don't see the Fulanis come charging anytime we mock their space. You don't
see even when I speak, I told you something. I said the Fulanis or the Hausas, they don't participate when it comes to intellectual discourse.
Yeah, but we mock the Yorubas here too. We mock the Yorubas. When I'm mocking the Yorubas, you hear how Ajale Koko is pained and fight. If he can reach through the computer and slap me, he will sometimes. What are you talking about? So,
but you see, my bro, if you look clearly, please let me finish. If you look clearly at the situation on ground, you will find that we are all in the same pot. But we don't get it yet. We allow these poor leaders to make our minds up for us. We cannot allow people who live in the 60s and 70s who made mistakes out of their own selfishness. Look at all of them from the past. They are all selfish. Even Awolowo too is selfish to an extent. You cannot use them and then use their ideas and discussion and decisions to pour it on the whole race.
You are talking out of line now. You are talking what you don't know. Describe to me how Awolowo is selfish. You see, you are saying your own now.
Can I say something?
Awolowo was selfish.
I'm not pointing at Yoruba because that's what you make.
No, just describe how Awolowo was selfish. Tell me.
I'm saying
be specific.
Have their selfish intentions.
You mind
let's not debate this with Xero.
That's what I'm saying now. One man should let us move forward and let us not debate this.
All right.
Can I say something?
Thank you. Let's hear from. Sorry, hold on. Let's hear from Brownberry, who we've not heard from yet. Okay. Brownberry, are you there? Okay, I don't think we have.
I'm here.
Are you driving?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Are you driving? You sound as
No. I'm not driving, man. I'm just waiting for you guys. I'm just listening.
All right. Thank you for listening. So, a lot being discussed, but now this space that Xero has opened up, just very briefly, because everybody don't want us to tarry too much on it. But this tone of Igbophobia that Xero is saying, he has identified. Do you identify it, or do you think it's been overly sensitive, as we are finding that anytime you mention if it wasn't Xero, you'll be in CBD coming in, sparking the cutlass, or BR, or Radio Biafra, or, but do you think we're overly, hard on the East?
I don't really want to go there, but when it comes to, he was talking about you as the host, that you shouldn't be joining them. But for you, what I've come to understand about one man is that even if it's the Yoruba they are talking about you, so you also be blasting the Yorubas and us, So I don't think you are. I think you are just in the middle. So I don't want to. Let's just move on to another subject.
All right. Let me still retain you in the East and take you to the IPOB headquarters and have you speak then on this new directive for the year. No more national anthem being sung in the East, and anybody that eats malu will get a flogging. So what are you taking then of the agenda for the year from the IPOB?
As someone that used to listen to Nnamdi Kanu and used to follow him a lot, since he got arrested, I've been very disappointed. I don't really know what's going on. If these are real IPOB, I don't know, because for me, what they have been doing is totally out of. It's not good at all. It's not good for their people. It's not good. I mean, telling them not to come out every Monday, telling them to not to do this, not to do that. Some of these things is not good for him.
What do you think they should be doing?
I mean, I think they should be. I mean, they shouldn't be doing these things that will be hurting him. I don't think.
Yeah, but what do you think they should be doing?
Okay, what they should be doing is just. I mean, I don't think they should be okay.
To sit quietly and be quiet. You want them to be quiet.
Okay. What is this going to do for them? I don't know. Is this going to give them...
You know what they are doing? What they are doing is they are agitating the space. Do you understand? They are making as much noise as they can to keep the focus on their plight as they see it. So how they do it might not be to everybody's taste, but the objective is to make as much noise
because
to keep the focus on their plight.
Why I'm saying this? I have a lot of Igbo friends, and most of them are complaining, because it's really hurting them. This Monday, staying home and stuff, it's really hurting them. And secondly, let me just go to the Nnamdi Kanu that I really, that I really respected. We have
respected. That's in the past tense.
Yeah, because okay. You know why? Since he went to Nairobi, IPOB hasn't told us why did he go to Nairobi. Why did he go
we
to
know
Kenya?
now. He's Instagram babe now. He went to
To do what?
It was Instagram babe. It was after fat
Because they
bottom
haven't
girls.
told us. I mean, you can't. I mean, millions of people are following you. You haven't told us why. You know, your leaders went to Nairobi. That's not good. That's not good enough. You know. So let's move on.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to sample your opinion, just so I know that everybody has spoken. But let me get back to Ajanle Koko, and then I'll come back to you. Ajanle Koko, so that space that Exero was commenting on, no more singing of national anthem in schools in the East, and no more eating of Malu. So what are you making of IPOB's agenda for the year?
Well, the non-eating of Malu, I believe that one will work because the people of the East, just as UK said the other day, which I agree with, is that 95% of people in the East want Biafra. I believe they will comply because they believe in the struggle. But that of the national anthem, I think it's just a political statement to energize their people to continue telling them that yes, they are still in the struggle, just to give them that sense of that sense of nationality of Igbo nation or Biafra nation, as they like it. So that's going to be difficult because there's no way they can go into each school and enforce it. It's not going to be possible, except if the governor cooperates with them and want to enforce it in the school, just like Akeredolu in the West, those states did. And they passed law in their parliament to that effect that Yoruba national anthem she will sing in the school. So that is the situation. So that's the way I see it. They cannot enforce the national anthem, but they can do that of non-eating of Malu because they believe in the cause.
All right. And the controversy around the Olubadan space, it looks as though they are applying democracy in picking their obas in Ibadan land. So are you aware of this and what are you making of it as a concept?
Yeah, that is their own practice in Ibadan. Ibadan, they follow turn by turn. So is they have hierarchy of high chief and they who is in line, who is next in line when one is on throne. That has been their practice for a long time. That has been their practice. They don't have a particular family lineage that are solely entitled to the throne. But it's the Council of Chiefs that do it among themselves, and that is the way they are. That's the way they have been doing it for centuries. I mean, for decades, for hundreds of years, as I can put it. That's their own way of doing it.
Yeah, all right. Democratically elected Oba. So, and finally, briefly, Ajanle Koko, on this whistleblower, I think we covered him not that long ago, EFCC guy that leaked the audio. So, as we anticipated, it looks as though he has been picked up. So, what are you then making of the plight of this guy, the EFCC operative?
What did they pick him up for?
They've not stated, but they said he essentially the language was that he violated terms and conditions and actions on becoming of an operative, etc., etc. So all those just flimsy whatever.
Well, if he violated the rules of engagement as an officer in
it was
EFCC,
off the back of do you remember that story with
he has to face
Sorry, Ajale Koko, do you remember that story we did when somebody leaked an audio of Abubakar Malami saying that Abubakar Malami essentially controls the EFCC and that he was unfreezing the account of big cases that the EFCC was weighing down upon. So it was the guy in that audio leak that was arrested off the back of that audio leak.
Yeah, I would have wished them to investigate that audio leak, to find out if what we had on that audio leak is actually true. But to detain that guy and punish him for that, I think that is that to me is winch hunt. Tells me that EFCC is an organization that is not following their rules of engagement, but the will of man. It's unfortunate that we have a country that some people the law or do what is illegal and they can go free. Abubakar Malami, for what he said in that audio, shows that he's a corrupt person. He perpetrates, he uses his official position, to perpetrate corruption and to engage in an illegal, illicit fund transfer and stuff like that. So EFCC, if it's an organization that is run by law and by what they establish it for, they by now should have started investigation on Malami. It's Malami that should have been invited and not the guy. The guy should have been in a position to expand more on what because I believe that is that guy must have had a lot of more audio and some other fact against Malami on his corrupt practices. EFCC should have been doing some investigation on Malami now, but Malami has been able to count EFCC. EFCC operate under his he has smartly imposed somebody from his own state, maybe from the same town as the chairman of EFCC, and it's unfortunate that we are in a country that corruption is the order of the day. Corruption is governed by corruption. So I wish some of our great lawyers can follow this up, can monitor this space, and see what they can do for that guy. If that guy is the one they really want to punish, instead of going after Malami. So that's my take on that.
All right, thank you, Ajale Koko. Stay with us. Let's go on to Rational Mind as we start to Rational Mind to you then. Let's hear from you then regarding that Eastern Space Still and the directive not to sing the anthem, etc.
What, but you're trying to put me in the exterior and other people's wala. But anyway,
yeah, that's an opinion, and Zero is here to keep you honest.
Yeah. So, well, the thing is I see, like, I think, like Ajani Koko said, and some other people already said, I don't think it's something that is doable or feasible that they would stop the singing of the Nigerian national anthem in their public schools, even private schools, I doubt. For one thing, it's I don't know. Even the sit at home, their Monday sit at home is gradually wearing off. I don't know if you people saw the reports that just came out from Imo State and on one ESN person that was, I mean, supposedly they said is an alleged ESN member who was trying to kill a royal father or a chief or an Eze or Igwe. So I don't know. And they gunned him down. And because of that, some people in Imo State, they just got tired. They just got fed up that I wouldn't know, maybe it's one of those orchestration of Nigerian government to kind of give a dog a bad name. And so that's what then the thing is, now people are getting so tired of the overbearingness of this ESN, Ipob thing, and sit at home that they said they are defying that order now. They are now walking around, going by, doing their business. They don't even mind. They don't even care what might happen anymore. So it's like people are getting tired, are getting fed up. Like I've said here on your platform, on some other platform, I said they should have been strategic about this whole thing, because there's only much you can make people do this kind of things. You know, you can't just say people should just sit at home every Monday indefinitely like that. I mean, we don't know when this guy is going to be released. And if it takes 2 years, I will say every Monday for about 2 years, people will not be going out. People will get tired at some point. So I see that also. I mean, people might not really, because I mean, they were talking about the ridiculousness that is found both in Yoruba Nation agitation and even this Biafra, Igbo, Ipob agitation. There's a lot of ridiculousness in them. That's whereby when you hear them, you start wondering, do these people really think through these decisions before they just put it out there? And you like the one we're just talking about now, that they said people should not speak, should not sing national anthem. I mean, how is that possible? I mean, if like was it Ajele Koko that said it? If maybe like what Akeredolu did in Ondo State, some of their what's it called, some of their governors had, which I don't think is even possible, because if you say allow people to, I don't think that Igbo has any national anthem besides the Biafran national anthem that they had back then during the Civil War.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is one, isn't it? That's an anthem.
But they can't allow it. I mean, there's no way the governor can allow it, even though they're trying to, should I say, pro Biafra, because it's kind of like, it's more of a secessionist kind of anthem. You get it? Like the Yoruba was the one of the former Western region. That one wasn't because they were trying to secede. It was because Awolowo was trying to promote some kind of nationalism, Yoruba nationalism in Yoruba children back then, which I think I could really try to reintroduce again to make them feel that Western region kind of nationalistic pride, that they were Yorubas, you know. But they don't have, I mean, Igbos don't have their own national anthem per se. I say maybe they have to cook up one themselves. Is the Biafra. And we know the Biafra is an opposing sovereign state to the Nigerian sovereignty. That's how it's viewed. So I don't see anywhere the Igbo governors would have introduced that in their schools. But not saying that they don't want them to even sing national anthem. So what are they going to be singing in the schools? That's what I'm saying. So I don't see. That's what they need to have thought about it truly. I mean, because when people hear things like this, people start looking like that. These people serious for real? These people serious? How do you expect us to stop singing national anthem in our schools? I mean, like, we're Nigerians. I mean, we're still part of this country called Nigeria. So how do you expect us to now stop singing it? You know. So what I'm just trying to say is to see the ridiculousness we are saying in this whole agitation is just getting me so tired of it too. I'm just getting tired of the Yoruba agitation, the Igbo, I mean, the Biafra agitation. It's just, you know, they need to be strategic, you know. I mean, like I've said on some other platform, I said, which I also concur with this, what's the name of this lecturer or professor from Osun State University? I think it lectures diplomacy and international relations or something like that. I mean, he said they need to be strategic, you know, like, if you have a plan B, plan A, you should have B and C perhaps. Because your plan A is okay, we are going to do in Zobu. Nigba, like you want to be shouting, Yoruba nation, no going, but then that should not be just one-way traffic. If you try that method, if it doesn't work, do you have other method? Do you have other plan in making that you've already planned that, okay, if that one doesn't work, we're going to use this other plan. And my whole plan, what I just suggest is, like that man also suggested is, can they, in a way, kind of hijack a political party or come together and form a political party?
Yeah, no, there's that thought that they should take the ABGA space, because that's essentially is where their politics is. But thank you, Rational Mind. For reasons of time, let me just quickly hear from Xero, and then I'll shut down. So Xero, just very briefly on the space that Rational Mind was speaking to, the IPOB directive. Do you have any thoughts on that, or yeah, Xero? Okay, we've lost Xero because he just came to bellyache about people being Igbophobic. So as we go off to reflect on Xero.
No, you didn't lose me.
All right. So yes, I was asking you about IPOB's directive, and you are accusing us of being Igbophobic, not being able to back it up. I think you are just speaking of some of the dramas that's been going on recently.
Yes, no, it's not even about that. Sometimes when you allow some narratives to air, some people to air their mind, you don't add your own opinion because you are the umpire. That's what I was trying to clarify. Let them speak. Everybody's allowed to speak, but at least you as the umpire, please just allow them, because sometimes if you add your own views, it will affect certain audience to think that you are biased. And I know you're trying to do a good job here, but don't allow yourself to be dragged in. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not biased, but I do have an opinion. It's an opinion-led platform. I'm sure you know that, and I know different from everyone else.
Yes, but you at sometimes, like one thing you must agree with me is that people change, and then two generations can never be the same. Generations evolve. The Igbos of today realize the importance of partnership, of living together with others. The Igbos of the past, I don't know what happened during that time, but I, for instance, cannot generalize or use sweeping generalization when I have a big organization and employ 95% Igbos, and I can stand in public to speak like that man spoke. I doubt if he has such an organization, because you should know that people are not the same.
Be quiet. Don't say what you don't know. If you don't agree with my assertion, listen, young man. If you don't agree with my assertion, you have the right to say you don't agree. You can't just look at me and come and make blanket accusing statements about Alexander Gomez. That's out of order. That's out of order, and that's very disrespectful. I have children your age. You can't call a man in his 60s a liar. What kind of upbringing do you have, young man?
Yes, you can't really say that. You can't. No, but
I have kids older than you, much older than you, and you have the effrontery to open your mouth and say that man must be lying. I'll put you on video and I show you my office right now, and it's 85% Ipob dominated. And you sit down in Ireland and you talk bullcrap. How dare you?
All right, Alexander, I don't think he quite meant it in the context, but
no. I know he grew up in Lagos. He grew up in Lagos, so his mindset is totally different. I am telling you unequivocally about what I know, I live with, I dine with, and you have the effrontery, the temerity to talk to me and tell me I'm lying. Do you know that lie in the English word? I don't, because you're Nigerian, you might not know. Lying is an insult. Do you realize that?
Take it easy.
All right, Alexander. I don't think he quite meant it in that context, but you see, so Xero, you were saying to be mindful of wordings. I think now maybe you too be mindful of wordings, because I was trying to guide you in that direction. Alexander doesn't speak casually, and he doesn't speak to what he doesn't know. This is the one thing that we've come to identify with him, and he doesn't speak often either. So he speaks only rarely, and in most instances to
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was trying to leave the place where I was, so that I don't reply and respond just because somebody is saying something. Doesn't mean I have to respond. You know, he's on the internet, so he can say whatever he wants. In today's world, you tell people truth, no matter how old they are. In your own world, no, I'm coming. I would say I'm not trying to insult him. I didn't intend to insult him, but if the truth hurts him that much,
you cannot
he's
say
free
it's
to
the
respond.
truth, no, hold on.
No, because you can't. But for you to say you have 95% Igbos working with you, and those 95% Igbos working with you are domineering. What kind of leader are you?
No. Hold on, X0, because you seem to be listening out of context. I don't want to say with prejudice, because you have to listen to what he is saying. You know, Alexander has a strong Igbo background. He's a Lagosian. He's married to an Igbo woman who he says is a leading Igbo woman within her locality. He's telling you that the bulk, the overwhelming majority of his workforce, they are Igbos, and he has investment in the Igbo space. So he has a strong background within this space. And he, a slightly more senior person, has a longer, long-standing interaction with that space. So it is the overall of that wealth that informs his opinion. So you can't just casually dismiss it out of hand because it doesn't chime with you. And you cannot hold on. And you cannot also describe what you are saying as the truth, because you cannot tell. Hold on. You cannot tell his own truth. You can't tell somebody else's truth. So their truth might not chime with your worldview, but you cannot rebrand their truth. He's giving you his truth, and he, more than anyone else, capacitated to give you that.
Can you let me speak now?
Yeah, but being mindful of the wordings, though.
I'm not. You know me for one.
Yeah.
I don't insult people. Yeah. I'm sorry he took it that way.
Well,
the intention is not to insult him. Yeah. That's not my intention. But I'll tell you that this man, I heard him say that Igbos are domineering.
Yes.
No,
I was the one who used the word domineering, not him.
Hold on. So he further buttressed that one spiff said something in order to support what he was saying. You know, so I heard him clearly. It's not as if I'm trying to say what you said, a rational mind or something. What I'm trying to say is a leader. And one thing a true leader knows is that people are not the same, especially 2 generations or 3 generations apart. And even if there was some Igbo issues of the past, you can't use it. You can't live in the past. That's what I'm saying. As a leader,
but
you should
still
be able to.
Look, it's a character. It's not a criticism, by the way. If you remove the word domineering and say assertive and decisive, which would mean the same thing, but you would then take that as a positive, would you not? But this character. Hold on. Is it not the same thing? It's the same thing now. When they're telling you that somebody is assertive, that's a polite way of calling them domineering, isn't it?
Please reason with me. I'm not trying to say whatever words. I'm not trying to coin words. I'm saying in the context of that discussion, the issue was that Igbos, why there's mistrust among, why there's so much distrust for Igbos, is because of what they did in the past, combined with what he said about Spiff, one of the former governors of Rivers, what he said about Igbos, how they did this. It was that narrative that I'm trying to explain to you as a leader in an organization where 95% are Igbos, and you speak this. What kind of Igbos do you have? Ask Lakers? No Igbo man will hear this and still want to work for you. What I'm trying to say is people are not the same. You have those people in the organization because you think they are different. That is what I'm trying to say. If I'm a leader, no matter what, I employ you because I think you are unique, not because you are like every other person. That's what I'm trying to say.
Hold on. Do you think that there are character traits that are peculiar to certain people and certain cultures?
If you ask me a question, give me the space to answer. Good.
But answer it frontally first, and then expand on it. Yes. Do you think there are character traits that are unique and peculiar to a set of people?
if people share the same culture and they live in the same space, quite all right, they're going to have certain similarities. But those similarities have nothing to do with character. Your character is your person. You develop along the line, you define your own character. As an adult, you're fully formed.
No,
so if you still
paradigm,
have morality, if you still have some morality problem as an adult, it is now your fault. So this man is an adult, and he talks about a people.
No, you leave Alexander alone, but speak to the space.
Yeah,
look.
Well, of course. People grow up together. They have
what we find, and what we have found in the course of just these sessions that we do, is that there are certain Igboisms that are just unique and peculiar to the eastern space.
If you said that, let me expand now.
Yeah. And there are certain Yorubaisms as well. There are certain Yorubaisms.
I've answered that, but now let me expand. You see, after the war, everybody in the East was given 20 pounds. Now, within that 20 pounds, they had to struggle. So, number one, you see where that determination for an Igbo man to succeed comes from. They didn't have any positions up there. They had to struggle in the market. So now there was a fight for space. And they have to, if one Igbo man comes to Lagos, he draws another brother of his to come and serve him, and then afterwards a settlement. That was the way they survived the harsh reality after the war. And that is what defined the Igbo man from that period to today. Because they started from nothing.
Are you saying they were not like that before?
No, but listen. If you're confusing competitiveness with now even more fired up competitiveness, I don't think I can explain further. There was competitiveness in the Igbo. That is why the Igbo man could come to Yoruba land and fight for space and get something. If he's doing it illegally, sue him, take him to court and arrest him. That is what I'm saying. But if you don't find anything wrong in his behavior, he just fought for the space and he got it, then why say this is domineering? And there's different definition of domineering. But what Alexander was saying, it was in the space of what the Igbos did to the South during the war. And for me, I think the war itself was started by somebody from the South.
All right. Thank you. Unfortunately, I don't agree at all with anything that you have said. But unfortunately, I have to shut down because I'm pushed for time. But
thank you for giving me the time to explain myself.
There are just two things that I think. I think, one, you misconstrued what was being said. And I think in you misconstruing what was being said, you then just exemplified it again. You by your misconstruing it, yet again exemplified what was being said. So your misconstruing it is an example again of what is being said.
Okay, let's go and listen to what that governor of Rivers said.
Yes.
Because that was the example he cited.
Rivers is not just the one example. He cited the governor of... hold on.
He used that as an example.
He cited that example to concur with his living experience and the general feeling of a particular way of being. So you cannot say the cascading of just this uniformity all the way through from the governor that he cited to his living experience. The examples that are cited by people like Rational Mind, everybody that comes on not everybody, but that's the generally held perception. And you cannot say that generally held perception is not vested on some truth or character quirk that people have identified. So it's not something that Alexander is saying, it's something that space is saying. This is the opinion that is held. Do you not know that what Alexander said is an opinion that is held? Do you know that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that is still profiling. That is what we blacks are fighting against in Europe.
Right.
But still we do it to ourselves. You see, that's still profiling. We should learn to unlearn and relearn.
All right. Thank you, Exiro. Hopefully you come back later in the evening because I'm going to readdress this when we reconvene.
Yes.
And
please try to bring that video of that Rivers governor. I want to see it. because this man used that again. Yeah, please.
Yeah, but that's just the one example. I don't really, I don't even know the name. It's some speech.
He said,
the only speech I know is
yeah. And I'm going to go and watch that video. I'm going to go and watch that video.
Also, you've not even watched it, and you are coming here.
Yes. No, he said the governor was saying things. You know, I'll go and watch that video. Thank you very much. Like I said, your program is nice. But please try to make the people sit upright when they're giving sweeping generalizations.
I made you sit upright. You came charging. You are like in CBD. No. Are you the new in CBD?
I will learn.
You start bringing cutlass.
No. Because I will not do that to a Yoruba man. I will not do that to a Hausa man. But I will learn to be more objective. Okay.
All right. I really must go.
We will all learn. Yeah.
All right. So we leave it there. Carry conversation on the comment section over here. Say peace.